Hey guys, this is part 11 of my story Torn Apart. I hope you enjoy it. Disclaimer: the characters and pictures do not belong to me. All rights belong to their rightful owners. I don't see the characters the way I portray them in my story. As a reminder, my first language is not English. My English is not the best. This story contains a lot of angst. It will also have +16 scenes in later parts. I advise not to read this story if you are under 16 or not comfortable with these topics. Warning: mention of suicide attempt, depression, violence, underage drinking, assault, and sex. Texts between mean that they are the thoughts of the respective person. Sakuatsu's point of view. Help! Someone please help us! When he heard the desperate screams of his loved one, his heart dropped into the pit of his stomach. He heard nothing but Itsumo's desperate voice. The whole team ran out of the gym, led by Kiyomi, followed directly by Motoya. Motoya isn't better off than Kiyomi. He was terrified for his best friend. When he saw Hachiko kneeling over Itsuno, he completely freaked out. He ran towards Hachiko. He tackled him to the ground. Hachiko coughed hard from the hard impact on the floor. Kiyomi punched him several times until the coach and some teammates pulled him off Hachiko. Itsumo's desperate scream brought him back to his senses. "Rin, wake up! No! Rin! Please do not leave me! Not like that!" He was kneeling next to Suna. He was in tears. He kept screaming for Suna to wake up. Kiyomi knelt down next to Itsumo and hugged him. In the meantime, the coach called an ambulance and sent one of the students to fetch the school nurse. Itsumo, Suna, and Hachiko were taken to the hospital to be treated for their injuries. The police were also called. When Itsumo finished his treatment, he wanted to go see Suna. Suna was still unconscious. However, Itsumo didn't get any information because he didn't belong to the family. Kiyomi and Motoya took him to Suna's room. When Itsumo saw his friend's condition, he burst into tears again. "I have to tell Osamu? Baby, you don't have to do that. I can call him for you." "No, it's all my fault. I'm the one who needs to call Osamu. You call my parents. They must also know what happened. The police have already called your parents about you. They are already on their way." "Okay, good." Itsumo took his phone out of his pocket and called his brother. Itsumo's point of view. It wasn't long before Osamu answered the call. On call. "Sumu, what happened? Are you all right?" "I'm doing well. I wasn't badly hurt. But Suna got hurt." Suna? What happened to Rin?" "Rin tried to protect me. He hit his head when he fell. He's unconscious, but the doctors won't give me any information. Samu, come to the hospital quickly." It was quiet for a moment. Itsumo could hear Osamu crying. But he didn't answer him. "Samu, calm down, everything will be fine. He'll be waking up soon." "Itsumo, what happened? Are you okay?" "Mommy? Suna is. He tried to protect me, and now he..." "Itsumo, calm down. Everything will be fine. We're in the hospital in 5 minutes. I'll wait for you in the lobby." Itsumo ended the call. He got up and went to Suna's bed. "Rin, please wake up. Osamu needs you. I need you too. You are my best friend. You can't leave me now, not now that I'm finally ready to forgive you and Osamu. Please, Osamu needs you during this time. You have to be there for him. Baby, can you wait here please? I'll go downstairs and wait for Osamu. Toya, can you come with me?" "Of course, I'll wait here, and if he wakes up I'll call you right away." "Let's go." Down. Itsumo and Motoya went downstairs as fast as they could. Osamu and his parents hadn't arrived yet. What if he doesn't wake up anymore? What if Samu loses his partner because of me? He could never forgive me for that. "Sumu, stop. It's not your fault. He was trying to protect you. The only one to blame is Hachiko. He attacked. At that moment Itsumo saw his brother. He ran straight to him. He threw himself into his brother's arms. Osamu quickly hugged his brother. He laid his head on Itsumo's neck. Samu, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. If Suna hadn't protected me, he would be fine. If I had just talked to you, he would not have come to school. No, Tsumu, it's not your fault. Only the asshole that hurt him is to blame. Itsumo cried in Osamu's arms. The two stood in the middle of the lobby, hugging and crying. Itsumo's parents now also came through the entrance. They went to their two sons. Where is he? I want to go to him. Itsumo took his brother's hand. He led him over to Motoya. Mom, Dad, can you wait here, please? Toya will tell you what happened. I'm going to Rin with Samu. I want to be there for Samu and wait with him until Rin wakes up. Osamu, are you okay with being alone with Itsumo? And Itsumo, are you sure you don't want us there? Of course it's fine. I need Tsumo now. Yes? Of course, and if something happens, Toya and Omi will be one call away. Alright, you two, go to Suna. Come Samu, I'll take you to him. Itsumo brought his brother to Suna's room. When he wanted to go in, Osamu stopped him. Osamu looked down at the floor with tears in his eyes. Tsumu, what do I do if he doesn't wake up again? I can't live without him anymore. He is the love of my life. Itsumu pulled his brother into his arms. He ran his right hand over Osamu's back soothingly. Osamu rested his head on his brother's shoulder. Samu, he will wake up again. He won't let you down. Samu, he is strong, he will wake up soon. We can only wait for him to wake up. We should just be there when he wakes up. It's scary when you wake up in a hospital and nobody is there. We should go in. Thank you Tsumo for being there for me even if you hate me. Itsumo opened the door. He pulled Osamu into the room by the hand. Osamu looked at his lover who had his head bandaged. His heart sank into the pit of his stomach. He quickly went to Suna's bed. He carefully took his lover's hand in his hand. Tears were streaming down Osamu's face. Itsumo meanwhile went to Kiyomi, who was standing next to the open window and was very pale. Itsumo hugged his partner, which calmed the other down a bit. Itsumo sent Kiyomi home. Itsumo wanted to be alone with Osamu. He wanted to help his brother deal with what was happening to Suna, but he couldn't if he was constantly worrying about Kiyomi. Kiyomi hated being in the hospital. There are too many germs and diseases. And the incident that was almost 5 weeks ago was still heavy on Kiyomi. Seeing his loved one in the hospital scared Kiyomi to death. If Kiyomi had stayed in the hospital, Itsumo would have been constantly worried that he would freak out. He once saw Kiyomi collapse and it scared the hell out of him. When Kiyomi was out of the room, Itsumo walked over to Osamu. He grabbed a chair and placed it right next to the bed for Osamu to sit on. He took a second chair and sat himself next to Osamu. He put his arm on Osamu's back. Itsumo said nothing. He just sat there and silently let his brother know that he is not alone. Baby P, please wake up. I need you. You promised me. You promised you wouldn't leave me to Rin. I still want to do so much with you. The door opened and a doctor came in. Osamu got up quickly. Mr. Osamu, Miya? Yes? What has he? Will he wake up again? How bad is it? Calm down, Mr. Miya. Mr. Suna's parents have given us permission to inform you about the health of your partner. He just has a concussion. He should wake up soon. We had to bandage up his head and he has some bruises. What worries me more is that he has slight scars on his back that look like bite wounds. He also has recent bite wounds and a large bruise on his hip. I hate to ask you that, but do you know if he has been attacked in the past few days? Osamu sat down in disbelief. Utsumu got up and stood in front of Osamu and looked at the doctor. No, doctor? Rin likes to be handled roughly. Only the injuries he suffered today were caused by violence? Are you sure? If there is a possibility that he is being sexually abused, we must inform the police. What are you accusing me of? Do you think I lay hands on him? I would never hurt him. I know my brother and I know my best friend and I know that they love each other and will never hurt each other. Rin likes hard sex. Rin was once in an unhealthy relationship, so I know the signs when he needs help. Suna is just like that. He likes it rough. When I saw him today, he didn't look scared. If he was being abused, he wouldn't have protected me. Then he would have been scared enough himself. Forgive me. I just need to be sure. Abuse is a serious matter and we as doctors have a duty to investigate if we have the slightest suspicion. The doctor left, leaving the twins alone in the room. Osamu looked over at Utsumu. How do you know what Rin likes during sex? I was Rin's best friend for years and we talked about stuff like that. But to be honest, it wasn't until the weekend that I understood why Rin liked it so much. Even if he did it with the wrong person back then. Samu, I know Rin very well. Before he turned against me, we had no secrets from each other. I'm so sorry, Tsumu, for everything I did to you in the last 8 months and for believing Samira and not you. Don't worry about it now. We can talk about anything after Rin wakes up. The two brothers stayed together at Suna's bedside for hours. Their parents or Motoya brought them food and drink. When the visiting hours were over, the doctors wanted to send them home. But after Utsumu told them about Suna's fears, he would be terrified if he woke up alone in a hospital room. After that, the two brothers were allowed to stay. In the middle of the night, when Utsumu was limp on a stool and Osamu was stroking his lover's hand, Suna slowly woke up. He gently squeezed Osamu's hand. Osamu in response grabbed Utsumu with his free hand and woke him up. Utsumu quickly walked to the other side of the bed and took Suna's hand in his. When Suna opened his eyes, both brothers cried. Suna quickly fixed his eyes on Osamu. He tiredly lifted his arm and gently stroked Osamu's cheeks. Baby W, why are you crying? Baby, you're awake. How you feeling? Should I bring you something? Does something hurt? Should I get a Samu? Calm down. Let him speak. Tsumu, what are you doing here? I didn't want to leave Samu alone. I didn't want you to wake up alone in a hospital either. I know only too well how scary that can be, but I'll leave you two alone for a moment. Call me if you need me. Utsumu went to the door and opened it. He was about to leave when Suna spoke. Tsumu, I'm so sorry for everything I've done to you, that I wasn't there for you when you needed me most. We can talk about it later. I don't want to have this conversation if my Omi and Toya aren't with me. We can talk about it when you get out of the hospital. Utsumu left the room and went for a walk outside. He needed to clear his head, and sitting all the time made his back hurt more. He just needed some fresh air. Osamu's point of view. As Utsumu left the room, Suna looked over at Osamu. Osamu also looked over at Suna. He turned to him and wiped the tears from Suna's face with his hand. He leaned towards him and gently kissed him. Baby, what are you doing that you scare me like that? I was so scared that you wouldn't wake up. Tears ran down Osamu's face. He brushed them away and sat down again. He took Suna's hand with his left hand and with his right hand he touched his lover's pale cheeks. I'm sorry, Samu, I thought I could get Tsumu to talk things over with you. I didn't want you to lose your brother forever. I didn't want you to give up. You need him in your life. I know it's okay. I'm just glad you're both okay. I'm so glad you weren't hurt more seriously. Do you remember what happened? No, not really. I remember going to Tsumu's school to convince him to talk to you. After that everything is black. What happened? I'm not sure. Tsumu didn't want to talk about it? All I know is that you must have protected him from someone and then the guy hurt you. Was Tsumu here the whole time? Yes, he didn't want to leave me alone. He was by my side the whole time. You're right, I shouldn't give up on him just yet. Maybe there is still hope for us. When I came here he jumped into my arms. I missed that very much. I hadn't hugged him like that in 8 months. I'm happy for you. Suna was already tired again. He closed his eyes. Osamu saw this and stroked his cheeks one last time. Sleep well, sweetheart. I love you. Love you too. Osamu stayed by Suna's side. He sat in his chair and watched his friend fall asleep. Osamu was very tired but wanted to watch over his partner while he was asleep. After about an hour the door opened, and Itsumu walked in. He took off his jacket and put it over Osamu. Try to get some sleep. I'll wake you up when Suna wakes up again. But what about you? You're tired too. I'm used to not being able to sleep. In addition, Kida comes as soon as the visiting hours starts. Then I'll be able to sleep a little. Osamu nodded and closed his eyes. It didn't take long for him to fall asleep. Kida had already left. He had to go back to campus for his classes. Osamu woke up in the morning when he heard his parents talking. When he opened his eyes he saw his parents sitting across from Itsumu. Osamu sat up. Itsumu, did you really tell us the whole truth about the boy? Why did he attack you? It wasn't the first time. He's already tried once after I rejected him. But after that he left me alone, so I didn't say anything, but Toya and Omi insisted that he be kicked out of the team. Luckily Suna came. I don't want to imagine what would have happened otherwise. Mommy, you shouldn't think about what could have happened. Sumo is fine and Rin will be fine soon. Samu is right. Omi and Toya stopped him before he could hurt me. But what about all the bruises I've seen? Or that you're limping? Itsumu blushed. He scratched his neck in embarrassment. Omi. They're not from that guy. They must have come from practice. And he must have been overexerting himself and is limping a bit because of it? That makes sense. Osamu, Rin is allowed to go home in the afternoon after another examination. He'll have to rest for a while after that, but he should be fully recovered soon. He was awake for a while in the morning. He didn't want us to wake you up because you looked so tired. But he should wake up soon. Samu, do you want me to come with you when you go back to the hotel so we can talk about everything, or do you want to spend some time with Suna first and then we can talk tomorrow after school? Osamu looked indecisive. He looked at Suna and back at Itsumu. He didn't know what to answer. On the one hand he really wanted to talk to his brother, but on the other hand he just wanted to spend the evening comfortably in bed with Suna. He also knew that it would probably be too much for Suna if Itsumu and his friends came with him, but he had been waiting for a chance to talk to his brother for so long. I would prefer if we could talk tomorrow. I want to go home and get some sleep. And as soon as Omi comes home from school, I want to spend the evening with him comfortably. And I'm also pretty sure I have to calm him down. He didn't feel good because he was here yesterday. Toya wrote to me that his phobia is worse than usual today. I'm sure he'll be happy if he doesn't have to see anyone but me after school today. Okay is good. That suits me too. Rin also needs some rest when we are in the hotel. But if you come to my hotel, Suna will be there too. He shouldn't go away alone in his condition. I know. He should be there. You will need his support just like I need Toya and Omi's support. And after what he did for me yesterday, I owe it to him at least to listen to him. We'll see tomorrow if I can forgive him. After a while, Suna wakes up. Osamu's parents left the three alone in the room. They went to eat together. Utsumu said goodbye to the two soon after. He wanted to go home before Kiyomi would come to him. After the last examinations, that Suna still needed, they left the hospital. Osamu and his parents drove back to the hotel together with Suna. When Osamu and Suna were alone, Suna finally dropped his mask. As soon as the door closed, Suna threw himself into his lover's strong arms. He buried his face in Osamu's chest. Osamu wrapped his arms around Suna protectively. One arm around Suna's lower back and the other under Suna's hips. Suna jumped and wrapped his legs around Osamu's waist. His face was now on Osamu's shoulders. Osamu carried his partner over to the bed and gently laid him down. After a while, Osamu was finally able to calm Suna down. He held him in his arms for a while longer, until Suna pulled himself out of the hug. He sat up and looked at Osamu. During the day, Suna remembered everything that had happened. He especially remembered how scared he was when he heard Utsumu's panic. I was so scared when I heard Tsumu scream for help. I couldn't move anymore. I heard how scared he was, but I couldn't do anything to help him. Baby, you protected him. If it wasn't for you, he wouldn't have gotten away with a few bruises and a huge horrible one. He's not hurt. You protected him well. But I should have protected him better. He always protected me, and I can't even take him safely to the gym. Baby, don't be so hard on yourself. You were great at protecting him. And you also managed that he is willing to talk to me. He's coming here tomorrow and we'll be able to talk about everything. Baby, please don't be so hard on yourself. You were also very lucky that you were not seriously injured. I don't know what I would have done if I had lost you, but if Utsumu comes here, where should I go? In your parents' room? That would make me very uncomfortable. No, Tsumu said that I will need your support and that he wants to talk to you too. But what do you have against my parents? Even before we came to Tokyo you said something like that? It's not that I don't like your parents. On the contrary, I like your parents very much. But I always feel so guilty about what I did to Tsumu. And if they make a comment or look at me with a look that blames me for your broken family relationship, it makes me feel very bad and very uncomfortable. But since I know it's my own fault, I've tried to swallow it, but I haven't been doing so well the last few weeks. My nightmares from Akira came back, and that's when I realized again how much Utsumu was always there for me. He's the only one besides my parents who knew what happened with Akira. I just missed Tsumu so much. I wish I could have gotten together with you without losing my best friend in the process. I wish he was still in my life. Tears streamed from Osamu's eyes, slowly rolling down his cheeks and landing on the pillow in his lap. Only then did Suna realize that his partner was crying. Baby, why are you crying? What did I say wrong? It's all my fault. I not only made my brother unhappy but also you. I never wanted you to be unhappy. It's my fault you and Tsumu aren't friends anymore. Do you regret being with me? What, baby? No, of course not. I love you. I don't regret being with you. I wish I hadn't lost Tsumu. And it's not your fault, Samu. I made the decision to take your side and not his. It's no one's fault that Tsumu and I aren't friends anymore. It's only my fault. Suna took his partner in his arms. They lay down on his bed together. Suna lay down on top of Osamu. Osamu wrapped his arms around Suna's body. He inhaled the scent of Suna. Suna did the same. Both calmed down quickly afterwards. But baby, there's no use thinking about who's to blame now. We should now only look forward to Tsumu giving us a chance to speak to him. We should enjoy the day together today. I think tomorrow we will cry enough. You're right. I am tired. I didn't sleep that well that night. Shall we sleep until we go to dinner? Suna nodded. The two slept until Osamu's parents come to wake them up. They all eat together. Mr. Miya suggested they should all watch a movie together in the room. Suna agreed after a moment of hesitation. They went into Osamu's parents' room as they had the larger room. After the movie, Osamu and Suna went back to their room. They took a bath together. After that, they went to sleep again. The next day they wanted to make a comfortable day together in their room. They watched films together, gossiped about the latest school news and much more. When they got bored and it was still 2 hours until Itsumo and his friends came, they made out. Like that the time passed quickly. Soon it was only half an hour until they would come. The two had to take a cold shower to calm down again. When there was a knock on the door, the two were very nervous. Both went to the door. Before Osamu opened it, he took another deep breath. He could hear his brother laughing through the door, which brought a smile to his face. Ready, baby? Yes? I hope you liked it. I can't believe it was part 11 already. I love you all. Hope to see you all again at part 12. I will do some polls regarding part 12, 13, and how the story can continue. If you want to participate, go to my Instagram account. I have a new Instagram account where I will make updates and where I will upload eventual smut scenes. Sakuatsu heart. Link is in the description. I apologize for the grammatical errors. Write me a comment how you liked the story. Don't forget to follow. If someone wants a video, please let me know it. I will try to write your ideas as best as possible.